Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another fantastic episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today, all the way from sunny hot Texas, is Rob. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great. It's gloomy here and it's fall, and it's very obvious that it's fall.
Right, right. It's so funny is when I moved to Texas just a few years ago, my brother warned me, says it gets really hot during the summer, which is brutal. But the fall and spring and fall are just like amazing, right? It's just like tropical weather. It's like 75, 80 degrees and it's not humid. It's like, oh, now I know why I like this place. So that's what I'm living in right now. So I like
Wow,
it.
that's awesome. Yeah. When did you move there? A few years ago, you said?
Yeah, just a few years ago. Yep,
Oh,
yep. Lord led us from Oregon to Dallas, which is a place I never thought I would
yeah.
move to. But man, he's working amazing things in my life for sure.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. So, Rob, to start, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sounds great. So, I've had a interesting story. Kind of starts back at the beginning of when I was young. I was an athlete, so I loved to do all sorts of sports. But one of the things that I found that I was naturally good at was running. And
Mhm.
then I read a book that was really impactful, and it kind of comes back to my current story. Is a book called Eat to Win. And that book was
Mm.
really impactful for me because I learned what you put in your mouth actually fuels your body, right? And as a young kid, not young kid, but as a teenager, instead of eating hot dogs and pizza, I was eating healthy food that I was a distance runner. So as I was running at the end of the race, I always had extra energy and
Yeah.
I could always outkick my competitors just because my body was fueled the right way. So I learned that really important skill that really helped me a lot with my running. And my goal in life at that when I was young was to be a professional runner.
Mhm.
And so I got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school, and I'd won a national championship, and I made the U.S. junior team, which is, 19
Oh,
years and younger. I was the second best miler in the country. And
mhm.
then that winter, I was out on a training run in Utah
Mhm.
where I went to school, and I got hit by a truck. So I was
Mm.
literally on a run, and my buddy was running with me, and he jumped into the ditch and yelled my name, and I had enough time to just turn and see it. And I saw
Mhm.
this truck coming, and I'm like, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit. And it hit me in the hip and threw me 36 feet. So if you think about that, it's a really long way.
Yeah.
And then I landed right on my face and then my knees. And it knocked me unconscious. And I really am blessed to be alive because
Mm.
I should have died that day. And, if it wasn't for my friend being there with me and unclogging my throat, I would have perished because I was, laying at this on the side of the road, unconscious, and my had a mucus and blood from a bloody nose I had earlier in just stuck in my throat, so I couldn't breathe. So not a good combination, right?
Mm.
But ever since that happened, I knew the Lord had me on this earth for a reason. I wasn't sure what that was, and I went through a really difficult period of time where I went into the corporate world, and I ended up getting depressed and unhealthy, and even was addicted to alcohol. So I went through this period of just really number of years and probably decades where I just was kind of wandering, and then the second truck hit me. But th
Wow.
this truck is the same truck that hit you, Bernadette. It hit everybody across the world. It was
Yeah.
what I call this second truck is the pandemic, right? That happened. So that really literally impacted everybody across the world, but it had a similar effect on me that really upended my life, right? So instead of like when I was running and I got hit by that truck, my aspirations to be a professional runner were over, right? So then, I'm going through my career and then all of a sudden, boom, the pandemic hit and it had a similar effect on my life. It just changed everything about my life. And when that happened, uh, I was really devastated. I lost my job because I couldn't travel and there was no travel. And so they downsized the team. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And then I saw evil. And for the first time in my life that I really saw it as this like, I don't understand what's happening because remember back to my early story about nutrition?
Mhm.
I knew that what we put in our body, helps us. So then I was seeing the vilification of doctors that were recommending vitamin D. I'm like, vitamin D is from the sun, right? It's like, how can that be bad for you? So that didn't equate to me. It didn't make any sense. I'm like, why are they attacking this doctor? And then I started doing research. So I had the time. I guess that's what God did to me again at this point. He's like, okay, I want you to stop what you're doing and I want you to open your eyes. And so I went and did all this research on the medical industry and our health industry in the United States and how it was created and how it was transformed and how what happened to all natural medicine. And oh my gosh, I just kept layer after layer after layer after layer. I just started finding out how our medical system in the United States was taken over in the early 1900s and they're only taught pharmaceutical based medication and our doctors and nurses are amazing, so I never want to take anything away from them, but they're trained on a specific way of doing things and they're so specialized that they aren't helping the body as a whole. And man, it's really coming into existence these last few years. And so ever since I realized that our medical system was corrupt and things were going on, I'm like, what the heck can I do? Right? I'm just one little person in this world. How can I have an impact? And that's where it's been really exciting to me is that the Lord has just kept leading me. I'm like, okay, Lord, I've really, after the pandemic, I just developed an amazing relationship with God, and am in the Word every day. So I try to read the Bible every day, and I try to do my prayer time, and I really am trying to let Him lead my life. And man, He's been really faithful in the respect that He just keeps every step of the way. I'm just like, what do you want me to, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do, do? And He just keeps opening the right doors, right? And I'm following that next footstep that He's provided for me. And then if the door closes quickly, I know it's for a reason, right? And so that's been really exciting to me in the respect that I now have a exciting path and future, and what I've created with a couple of companies that I'm working on right now are just it's phenomenal. We're really having a positive impact on the world, and we're having a positive impact on people's faith, and we're having a positive impact on their health, which is finally, I think what, I believe God has me here on this earth. So there's a really long-winded answer to your question.
Oh,
Sorry
it
about that.
happens. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my life
thank you.
story in 10 minutes.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I find at times when we go through different types of trauma, it's so hard to open up and talk about it. And I can
Yeah.
tell that you've done the healing. You are set
Yeah.
free and you're helping other people. So thank you. That being
Yeah.
said, there's so much to unpack. We'll start
For sure.
somewhere.
Sounds good. There's so many things we can talk about. I'm open to
Yeah,
talk about any of them. So
yeah,
where would
yeah,
where would
yeah.
you like to go?
Yeah. Normally, I like to ask people about their childhood because I think there's always a connection there. I
Yeah.
always ask about it, and I always go there myself to figure out what went wrong or what could I improve as an adult.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're wounded adults with an inner child that's crying for help. So tell us, what was your childhood like, and what are some fond memories you've taken from it and have learned?
Yeah, that's an awesome question.
Thank you.
And I had a really, I'm really blessed the way that I did grow up. I know so many other people that have not had the upbringing that I had. I had a wonderful mother and father who raised us, and they tried to raise us in a Christian home, even though we were, in my opinion, more what I call creasters, where you go to church on Christmas and Easter, right? And they did take us to church, but it just something I just didn't have a connection, right? Didn't feel feel connected to that. But they raised us in a middle class home, and I'm the baby of three boys. So I had two older brothers, and my middle brother is 4 years older than I. He's my mentor. And then my other oldest brother was 7 years older. So he and I didn't have much in common because he was just so much older. And but I learned a lot from him because he was the wild child. So so I was really interesting as my wild child brother. I learned what not to do from him. And then my angel brother, was the middle one. And so I kind of weaved my way in the middle, right? I'm like, okay, no, I can't go this far and do that, but and I, this angel stuff is a little too nice, right? So I kind of whittled my way in the middle, but it was really a blessing to be raised in that manner and fashion, and I was able to they provided things for me, right? They did anything with athletics that I wanted to do. They traveled across the country for my running meets and trips, but yeah, I think that. But being the baby was an interesting thing in the respect that I always felt like kind of left out, right? My oldest brother, he would always be able to do things and way earlier than I ever could. And my middle brother's 4 years older than I, so he was always able to do things, and I was always kind of just stuck at home. And so I always had this yearning that's like, there's something missing. So I think that was an interesting respect that as I look back on my life, I see that I felt like left out for some reason. And sometimes even not loved, even though my parents were loving, right? And they raised me great, but I just think I had this inner connection that was just like felt like something was missing, and I did see that throughout my life coming back to play, where I just felt like I'm not good enough for a lot of things, right? So that probably came from, I mean, just assuming that came from that type of thing when I was growing up.
Thank you for sharing. I think every family, if not most family, have everything you just described.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
For me, I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
I'm every family needs a black sheep, so I own that title.
Do you?
Oh yeah, a rebel who just I don't know. I just go with the wind. I don't like structure, schedule. I just do me. So every family
Right.
needs those. Yeah,
That's right. That's
yeah,
right, for sure. Yep,
yeah,
yep. My
yeah.
oldest brother was definitely like that, and he had his hard knocks, right? But he also has really done well in his later years in his life. He realized that, okay, yeah, I guess I shouldn't be doing those types of things, and I should be doing these things, and you learn from life, right?
Mhm.
When it knocks you down, you pick yourself back up and go. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So as an athlete, when you run, what does it do for you? Or did? I don't know if you still
Yeah,
exercise or
actually, I
run.
do. I do run now. I
Okay.
went through that period of like I mentioned that I was just unhealthy, so I couldn't run 10 steps for a while. I was 30 pounds overweight and addicted to alcohol and just was really out of shape. So I really took bad care of my temple, and so. But now, I mean, when I used to run, it was just natural to me, and I was really good at it. So it was really exciting in the respect that I was just better than most, and it was something that was my thing, right? So it was like I was able to get that full ride running scholarship, like I mentioned, and it was just like things were on the move. So that was exciting. And then I've been running. When I started getting healthy again, I stopped drinking alcohol. I'm 6 years sober, so that is an accomplishment of mine. And ever since then, I've started really taking care of my body, taking care of my temple, and trying to get my body back to those decades that I didn't take care of my body, trying to resurrect the body that God gave me. I mean, He gave us an amazing body. That's part of my research that I was doing when the pandemic hit. Is my gosh, God put so everything on this earth that is good for our bodies if we utilize it correctly and we put it into our bodies, and then guess what? Our bodies can heal. And that was amazing that if you literally take what God put on this earth and you consume the right things at the right times, your body starts working the way it's intended to be. And then when your body works the way it's intended to be, it can start healing itself, which is so cool. Because
Mhm.
we in society today, today our air is compromised, our food is compromised. We have fast food itis, right? Where it's like, drive-through food, and we don't
Mhm.
really watch what we eat, and the food is ultra processed food. And
Mhm.
you start doing research on the ultra processed food, and it's like it's not good for you. It's really, it's really bad. And so then your body gets addicted to this bad food, and your body starts rebelling, and it
Mhm.
starts inflaming, and it starts just, you start having all these issues. And the fun thing for me is to help people realize that, oh my gosh, if you start eating healthy and in the right way, your body starts transforming, and your body will go fix those things that are hurting people, like inflammation, chronic pain that people have for decades. I've got multiple with the companies I've created. I've got multiple solutions that help people with chronic pain. And it's so fun to be able to help people who've had pain for decades, to help them say, guess what? We can help you, and we can help you in a way that is healthy, and you're going to
Mhm.
be able to take care of your temple. So that's been really a blessing, is to help people, in that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Isn't it fascinating how magnificent the body is?
Yes.
It's a temple. It's so precious, yet at times some of us don't treat it that way or take care of it that way.
Yeah, and I didn't for decades. So I can raise my hand and say
You're guilty.
I get it. I totally understand. So, no one can
Yeah.
look at me and say, "Oh, well, you're holier than thou." It's like, no, I get it, right? I totally understand. And
Yeah.
so I empathize with everybody, and then I empathize with them as well, because of just our society, right? We grow up in this fast food area. You got to have your Starbucks in the morning. You got to go through the drive-through at lunch, and you got to, have a quick meal, and you don't have time to sit down and prepare one, so you microwave it, right? And it's just like, oh my gosh, you start looking at how bad those things, the combination of all that stuff is, and it's really bad. And it is so fascinating when you look at the human body. So one of the companies I founded was a quantum energy skin patch company. And I was like, what the heck was quantum energy? I had no idea what quantum energy was when I was introduced to it.
Yeah.
And but then I started doing research on the human body, and it's fascinating. The human body is made up of energy. I
Yeah.
didn't know that, right? It's like, wow. And then even all the way down to the cellular level of the human body, our cells interact via vibrations, and those vibrations give off frequencies. So I thought frequencies was a weird name and a weird term. I'm like, I didn't understand frequencies. And then I started realizing that frequencies are everywhere. Color is a frequency, light is a frequency, sound is a frequency. You turn on the radio in your car, you're going 60 miles an hour down the road, and you turn the dial to a different, guess what, frequency, and you get a different radio station. So it's just bizarre how complex that is. But then you look at our body, and our body's made up of energy, and it interacts with frequencies. And if you can put positive frequencies, on the body or towards the body, your body interacts with that. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And so I created a company that helps people with a lot of ailments just with frequencies, which is super, super cool. And then you start getting into good energy, which is the nutrients that you actually put in your body, and how your body processes those nutrients. That's what we do now. I just created a company called Exodus Strong, and we have a supplement that's called Exodus. And I love it because it's like exit the old you, right? The old Rob was fat, out of
Yeah.
shape, and not healthy. And I want to exit that old you, and I want to take you into the me now, which I'm
Mhm.
200 pounds, and I'm very lean, and I lift weights multiple times a week, and I run multiple times a week. I'm very healthy, and it's because I'm taking care of this temple that God gave me. And
Yeah.
this Exodus product is amazing. It's got 7 biblical ingredients in it, and
Mhm.
then it gives you nutrients that you need. Helps you with the gut health that you need, and it helps reduce the inflammation that when I was doing research on the seniors in our world today, over 50% of them have chronic pain. I'm like, well, that sucks. Why are so many people in pain? And
Mhm.
then you start doing research on why. It's because that all those things I mentioned, right? The diet that they have, the quality of water that they drink, or lack of quantity of water they drink, and the air is compromised. So there's lots of things that are factors that are against our bodies. And
Mhm.
then, people aren't eating right. So that's been fascinating, is to help people with inflammation, because when you help with inflammation, guess what goes away, right? Then the pain and other ailments you have go away when you can reduce that inflammation. So
Mhm.
that's really fun. Those seven biblical ingredients are amazing, but then we've added a really cool component that I'd love people to do research on. It's called molecular hydrogen. So it's got this blend in it that creates molecular hydrogen inside the body. And when you have molecular hydrogen inside the body, it acts as a master antioxidant. So it gets rid of the free radicals in your bloodstream, like the
Mhm.
bad cells, the cancer cells, and other things that don't belong there. It gets rid of, and then it helps the mitochondrial process work more efficiently. So your
Mhm.
blood works the way it's supposed to work, and it gets rid of the bad stuff. So it really cleans out the body in a really amazing way.
Mhm.
So it helps with a lot of the huge difficulties that our society has. If you look at the top five health problems in the world, it's
Mhm.
cardiovascular disease, it's blood sugar issues, it's obesity, and
Mhm.
guess what? Our product helps with all of those. So
Yeah.
it's like so cool. It's a transformational product that I'm just so excited to share with the world, because it's really unique.
Mhm.
There's not another product like it on the market, and it's helping people with their health. And then we include a prayer guide that goes with every product. So the reason I like this is that we have this little prayer guide. It has every day it has
Mhm.
an intention and a verse and a prayer. So you literally declare it out loud with your mouth. So you're declaring it. There's power in the tongue, the Bible tells us. You're using your eyes to read it and your ears to hear yourself say it. You're using multiple senses that God gave you to help you with your health problem. And then you take the supplement, and guess what? The combination of those are just an amazing combination that's helping lots and lots of people get well. So that's been super exciting, to take people from, like me,
Yeah.
out of shape, treating your body really poorly, and
Mhm.
let's exit that old you, and let's enter the new you, and treat your body and temple. Well, and
Mhm.
then you have the mind body spirit connection that everybody needs and everybody should have.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
been really fun.
That's awesome. I love everything you're doing and sharing. Uh, would you say the product you have, who is it for? Is it for everybody? Well, except kids, I'm assuming, but who is it for particularly?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So I would say it is for everybody, but I want to give a caveat to that, right? Because then people don't take it for what it is, because it is so important. Even the practitioners are recommending it for children. So they're taking the capsule that we have, and they're putting it in children's juice, so that the children can even benefit from it. But there's a couple of major issues that people have. And when you
Mhm.
have these major issues, this product is perfect for. One of them is inflammation, that we talked about already, right? So if you have pain or inflammation, this product is amazing for. So it's going to help it reduce, and then those things are going to diminish. And
Mhm.
then the second one is energy. So there's a lot of people that are fatigued because they
Mhm.
don't get enough sun, they don't drink enough water, they're eating poor foods,
Mhm.
and they're not getting the right nutrients that their body needs, right? Your body needs a certain amount of nutrients and a certain amount of water for it to do what it was that God intended it. And so the awesome thing about Exodus is you take these capsules, and it has the nutrients. It's got barley grass and wheat grass in it, and it's
Mhm.
got saffron, cumin, aloe, frankincense, and myrrh. So the combination of those seven biblical ingredients are amazing. But if you look at barley grass and wheatgrass, those really give you the nutrients that you need to operate throughout the day. So you have sustained energy.
Mhm.
throughout the day. So people that are in, have fatigue, it's just an amazing, amazing product for it. So those are probably the top two. But then if you go research on your own,
Yeah.
the top five health issues that the world has or the country, the United States has, and
Mhm.
guess what? Our product helps with all of those. So, if you don't have those, it also helps prevent problems. Remember, I was talking to you about that molecular hydrogen, how
Yeah.
it acts as a master antioxidant.
Mhm.
So if it's helping your mitochondrial process work efficiently and it's getting rid of the free radicals in your body, guess what? It's going to help prevent
Yeah.
people from getting diseases.
Mhm.
So it's like amazing. There's no reason you shouldn't take the product unless for some reason you're allergic to one of those ingredients. But
Mhm.
if you aren't, it's just a transformational product and it's a foundational product that everybody should use because it's going to help you prevent problems if you don't have any. So, it's like the most amazing gift you can give anybody is your health. Because
Mhm.
if you don't have your health, then you can't do what God has put you on this earth to do and be. And that's why I'm so excited about where I am today is, my gosh, I was out of shape. I was unhealthy. I was treating my temple really horribly. I didn't have a good relationship with Christ and I just wasn't living right the way I want. Now I look at my life, I'm like, man, I missed out on so many years that but so on fire now to help people with their faith and help people with their health that I believe that that's what God put me on this earth for is to teach people about their temple. It's not that complicated. It really isn't, right? If you just get the right nutrients in your body, you get the right water in your body. Those are foundational things, right? You get sun on your body and you start doing these things that are not that complex and you're intentional about them, you can transform your body in amazing ways and in a very short period of time. It takes time, but it took time for you to get to where we are, right? It took time for me to get fat. It took time for me to get unhealthy. So it took a little while to get back to a healthy body. But man,
Mhm.
it's so transformational when people do it that it's exciting to help them get there.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I have chronic pain and I'm a zombie
Ah,
most of the time. And I know earlier we talked about health and medicine.
yes.
That's been a constant struggle between my diagnosis and yeah, I'm going kind of holistic route and doing
Yeah.
things on my own because
Good job.
I appreciate doctors and the healthcare professionals, but I found that there was some type of gap that they were not connecting the dots for me to process and live and to have a healthy lifestyle and to be happy. So I'm just
Yes.
going the holistic route. And it's a journey I'm taking by myself, but I'm learning from people like you as well, on the
Yeah.
podcast. So yeah, it's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah. Can I tell you a Texan story?
I would love it. I would love
Okay. Okay, you guys, I'm
it.
I'm in Canada, so went to Texas a while ago, and very nice restaurant. I walked in with, some friends and like I'll have a salad to start. Thank you. And we wait, and the lady came with a salad, and I think it was this big. Didn't- You
Just
know,
a ginormous one.
yeah. I think you have the wrong table. She's like,
You're
no,
like,
that's your salad. I ate a pizza slice of it. By the time I was done, I was full. And she brought the actual food that I ordered. I had
oh
to
my
take it
gosh.
with me to go home. Right? The portion is very different in the States than Canada. Okay, if you
Yes.
ask for appetizer here, there's salad and many things included with it. It's a small portion. It's an appetizer. So I think, with everything you're doing, it will help. And I think it's about portioning and
Yeah,
listening to your body. Speaking of body, this is such a massive topic.
it
I'll
is.
tell
It
you why.
is.
It's very different for men and women.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
experience body shame differently. And
Yeah.
also, I think between men and women, we shame each other instead
Yeah.
of helping each other, right?
That's right.
When someone's
Yep.
struggling, when someone looks a bit heavy, they don't need to hear it or be looked at weird because of how they look, because they already feel probably like crap about themselves. I think they need self-love, compassion, and
Yeah.
understanding, whether it's from family, friends, or the public, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and it's just hard. Our sin nature as a human is hard sometimes, right? You look at somebody who is overweight, and your initial thought is, "Oh, they're just not taking care of themselves." But
Mm,
that could be totally the opposite, right? They could be doing amazing. You know, maybe they were twice that size recently, and they're down to that size, and they're making great transformations. So it's really not us to judge, right? Which is,
mm,
the Bible literally tells us that it's not us to judge.
mm,
It's for him to. So, but we're all sinners, and so unfortunately, our nature is to be negative towards those people. I'm really working hard in my walk, and it is to love everybody, right, regardless of their race, color, creed,
yeah.
size,
Mhm,
whether they're male or female. It's my goal is to love everybody. And
mhm,
if you go in with that positive attitude, then it's so much easier that you can say, even if that person is a jerk to you and they hate you and they swear at you and they, whatever, you're still compassionate towards them.
mhm,
And man, it just the life is so much better if we
mhm.
can just be that way. But it's so hard for us to be that way.
Yeah.
So I just think that, if we can all realize and have empathy for other people, that
Mhm.
our world is going to be a better place. And I want to live in a better place, right? Don't
I
you?
do.
Right?
Yeah, I
So
do. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we all
And
we all
yeah.
want it. And so I
Mhm,
think a way that we can try to help people get there is just by being that ourselves. And
mhm,
then when people see that light in you,
mhm,
they will say, "What is that? There's something different about Bernadette. What is it, right? Why is she that way? And
mhm,
I want to be like that." And then hopefully we can get more and more people to be the
mhm,
lights to the world rather than the darkness. Is
mhm. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yeah, we have that in common. I'm exuding love. I'm giving it away. Take
Yeah,
it.
I
Take it,
love it.
pass
Yes,
it on again until everyone has a little piece of it and
that's right.
hold it in their hearts and give it and live it and practice it and be it. Right? And
Yes.
I think yeah, that's why I do what
It's
I
so
do.
easy to be in negative self-talk even,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Even to say, "Oh man, I'm not good." Like I told you earlier about my child, I was like, my initial thought on a lot of things is, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that." And now I'm just really working hard to take away 100% of that negative
Mm,
thought and negative thinking, and it's all positive. And man, it's just so much more transformational when you see the good in people instead of, the guy flips you off and goes down the road, and you used to get mad and follow him, and it's just like, now just like
yeah.
I wave at him, say, "Well, God bless you, hope you have a wonderful day," right? It's like,
Yeah.
what's it gonna what by me reacting to that is
Mhm,
not gonna do anything, right?
mhm,
So just yeah, we need to just turn it around and be positive and happy and help other people and know that every single person has a different journey. So just because their journey is different than your journey doesn't make them any different than you. We're all children of God. And
mhm,
just because that person maybe has more pounds on their body, you have
mhm,
no idea why they've got there. Maybe it is a medical condition. Maybe they just, maybe they don't know. Maybe
yeah.
they don't know how
Mhm,
to do things. And that's super simple because our society just is crazy right now. The way that we
yeah.
treat our temples is just really bad. So it's a
Mhm,
lot of times it's not people's fault, but you look at Instagram, you look at Facebook,
mhm,
you look at social media, and you feel bad because you don't have this amazing life that everybody else does. And so we just need
mhm,
to shift that
yeah.
model and say, "Hey, my life is what it is, and I'm going to make the best of it."
Yeah, yeah. For me, I put my glasses on
There you go. I
because
like it.
I can see straight through the filters.
I
Even
love
with a
that.
smile, I can see the pain in people's face.
Yeah.
I read people pretty well. It's hard to hide. And I'm like, yeah, no, I see this filter. This is the name of it, and this is not true. And wouldn't it be so transformative and powerful if we could actually share what we're experiencing in honesty and authenticity?
Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. I mean, no
Absolutely
one,
amazing.
yeah, no one does, right? They're too scared of what people think about us. And that's, we need to
Mhm.
get to the point where we it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks about us. The only person that matters what thinks about us is
Mhm.
him, right? And if we have a good relationship with him, then everything else is going to fall into place.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and what this neighbor says or what this person driving by thinks about you doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
Hmm.
So, just live your life in a positive way and be the light to the world, and let's make a difference in the world. Let's have a positive vibe going throughout this world rather than, I really see a huge evil versus good fight going on in our world, and it's just tragic. And I don't want that evil to enter into my existence, and I want it to stay away. We just blessed our home, and I'd never done that before. But literally, we prayed over the four corners of our house, right? And we're just praying for good things, and it's like I think that people need to start doing that more. They need to have a good connection with Christ, and they need to understand that He is our Savior, and that guess what? You can have a real conversation with Him. The Bible is a living Word of God. You can read the Bible, and it says the same thing. You go read it a month later, and you read that same passage, and guess what? Your thoughts and the things that the Lord is communicating to you are going to be totally different. It's just really amazing. So that's been my transformation is that getting in the Word every day and trying to understand it, because it's a huge complex book, right? There's lots and lots of things in it, and you take things out of context. You're like, oh my gosh, they said this. But then you always bring it to your world, and that's not necessarily what it meant back in the context of when it was written. So then you
Hmm.
have to kind of understand why did they say that and what was happening around it, and then it's fascinating as you start learning. But there's some really amazing concepts in the Bible that if people lived, man, we just imagine the world we have if people actually lived out the Bible rather than doing the opposite,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, I agree. And I find that throughout the Bible, there's an answer solution for every problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
stuff about love, hate, enemy. I don't know, all of it. You just gotta find it.
Anxiety, yeah,
Mhm.
there's so much there. And even like that's what I've had so fascinating is our health, right? So literally that's was the deep dive I was doing. I was doing all this research on the biblical ingredients in the Bible. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's barley, there's wheat, there's saffron, there's cumin, there's aloe, there's frankincense and myrrh. And we took that magical seven combination for a reason because they're all synergistic. And then you added that molecular hydrogen, which is really an interesting story in the respect that I was doing all this research on biblical ingredients, but I wanted to create a product that was really a game changer for people. And for a long time I couldn't find what it was, right? I looked at the balm of Gilead. That's just a balm in the Bible that's amazing. It's like if we could find the balm of Gilead, we'd all be healthy, right? And but okay, like where is that balm? I want to find that balm of Gilead,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find this magical thing that's just going to transform people. But then I met this, through the what God is leading me to. He led me to this practitioner in California who had this molecular hydrogen blend who he was
Mhm.
trying to take it and add biblical ingredients to it to make a solution. I'm like, hey, I know the ingredients we should do. And he's like, well, I have this. He says, why don't we do it together? So we literally, the Lord led us together, and now we have this solution that we're taking to the world that is transformational. It comes from the majority of the ingredients are from the Bible, and well, actually, they all are because the molecular hydrogen blend is basically hydrogen. And hydrogen is the first element, the smallest element and the most abundant element in the earth.
Mhm.
So, God created everything, so He created hydrogen as well. So,
Mhm.
anyway, it's just fun to when you step into your purpose and you start walking with authority, and you start understanding that hey, He is in control, and I'm just going to follow Him, and that the doors that He opens is just absolutely incredible. Have you ever heard of the book called The Maker's Diet?
No, I haven't. There's so many of them.
Yeah, there are a lot. And this one was just my wife bought it like 3 or 4 years ago. She
Mhm.
brought it into our home. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The diet is based upon this gentleman who almost died, I think, of Crohn's disease or something. And the
Mhm.
doctors just said, you're sorry, nothing we can do for you. So
Yeah.
he ended up curing himself by going back to what the Bible said, and he made this diet that was called the Maker's Diet. So he only ate things that came from the Bible, and he healed himself. And it was like, so it's a cool book, but it was a fun thing. It's just like the Lord is connecting me. Literally today, got introduced by an amazing doctor out of Utah who's like, I think that you need to meet this gentleman. I'm like, okay, great. Who is it? And he mentioned the name. I didn't recognize the name. And he
Yeah.
texted with me, and I'm texting this gentleman. I'm like, oh, that's great. We're going to meet in a couple of weeks. And I
Mhm.
started doing research. I'm like, that's the author of the Maker's Diet. I'm like, that's
Oh,
so
wow.
amazing. So
Wow.
it's just the Lord is leading me to the right people at the right time. And it's
Mhm.
just a matter of time until this product I believe honestly that this Exodus product that we have, this is our
Mhm.
supplement. It's going to be in every store and in every shelf because it's just that transformational. And it's just a matter of when people start seeing the benefits of it, they're like, why
Yeah.
is that so different? Why is that working? And then they
Mhm.
start doing research on the molecular hydrogen, and our supplement is the only one that has these biblical ingredients and the molecular hydrogen combination together. And
Mhm.
so it's just gonna be amazing. And I'm just gonna keep following the Lord's connections like you did with uh,
Mhm.
with the author of the Maker's Diet, and it's just going to be fun to see how the Lord takes this company. Because I think I mentioned to you our goal is to get 1 million new people to read the Word through their health, right? And so if I can get 1 million new people to continue to read the Word through their health, then I'm trying to help this world be a better place, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that if I can get that many people reading the Word, then hopefully they're going to get other people to read the word, and
Yeah.
we're going to help transform this world. And we're really trying to build a kingdom business to where you can give back, right? And only way if I build a big kingdom business, I can have a big impact. If I have
Mhm.
a little teeny kingdom business with no revenue, I have a
Mhm.
teeny impact. And I don't want to have a teeny
Yeah.
impact. I
Yeah.
want to have a big impact on this world. So I want to build this big organization, not selfishly at all, but so
Mhm.
that I can give back and that I can just make a big difference in the world and help people. And
Mhm.
right now, I think I can help people with their health. I really have a story that I think resonates with people. That man, I was addicted to alcohol. I was out of shape.
Mhm.
Didn't take care of my body whatsoever. And guess what? Now I know how to do that. And I can, if I did it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
So it's relatable to people, and
Mhm.
it's like it's easy to it's very difficult, but you can do it, right? And it's
Yeah.
not hard to do it if you want to do it. And I can guide people to get there because it's just literally looking at the things that are in the Bible, and let's start taking care of our temple. When we take care of our temple, it starts healing itself, and then you start feeling better. And then guess what? That those 10 steps you took today, maybe it's 20 tomorrow, right? And then maybe next week it's 30. And you
Mhm.
can just you can start transforming your life. So I want
Yeah.
to help people with their faith and their health. That's my mission.
Yeah, that's a really powerful mission. Thank you for sharing. And I
Yeah.
love the name of it as well. For some
Thank
reason,
you.
there's power to that. Isn't it in
Yeah.
Exodus when the Red Sea parted?
Yes,
Was
exactly.
it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly
Okay.
right. And
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
Lord took his people out of bondage,
Hmm.
right? So they were in bondage, and he took them out. And then yeah, that's where the Red Sea parted, and it's just a fascinating book. I've read Exodus a number of times, especially
Hmm.
when we decided to create the name of Exodus. It really was from that. We really want to exit the bondage that we're in, and we want to lead you to a new life. And we can do that. We really can. And it's
Hmm.
not that difficult if you just take basic steps. And we can help you transition from the old you to the new you.
Yeah. Awesome. So, Rob, who has been rooting for you, and what are some of the names or mentors that you've had that guide you to be the man that you are today?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I think I mentioned my mentor is my middle brother. So my middle brother Rick, he's been a mentor for mine my entire life. It's funny story when you go into high school in the US at least, it's like you everything from the ninth grade on till you graduate as a senior, it
Mhm.
counts, right? So all of your grades actually count.
Yeah.
And he'd just gone through that period where he got a couple of C's, and his grades weren't as high as he wanted at the end of the thing. So he was trying to get into colleges and stuff. And
Mhm.
he's like, right before I went into to high school, he sat me down and says, Rob, he says, your grades matter. Everything you do from here on out matters. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Now, now instead of, getting B's and C's in class, I actually need to pay attention. I need to do good. So it was amazing. I ended up getting a 3.98. I got one B in my 4 years of school because I had a mentor of mine who had just lived life a little bit earlier than I had and helped teach me what I need to do. And that's what I want to be for people now. I've lived that bad life. I've lived a good life. And now I believe I can help people avoid the mistakes that I made. So I'm trying to help people say, hey, look, I get it. I know I've been where you are. Let's just get you out of that. Let's get you to the new, and you're going to be so much better. And so my brother, I think, is obviously one. My mother was also just an amazing woman, and she just loved me, right? She gave me everything I wanted, and since I was the baby, my brothers were gone out of the house before everybody else, and so she was like my best friend. So that was really really neat. No, I can't get away without saying my beautiful wife right now, right? We've been married for 25 years, and she's just the light of my life, and we're working together to make an impact in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Um, yeah, you have a podcast. Tell us more
Yeah.
about it. What is it called and who do you interview?
Yeah, it's fun because it's called I Am Pain Free. So it's simple.
Oh.
I am pain free. And
Yeah.
so now I am pain free. I wasn't, right? And but the cool thing too is I interview holistic practitioners a lot, and I just interview people who are trying to help make a difference like in this world. It's like how do we since I did that research on the medical field, I think I told you that 50% of the seniors are in pain, but one of the things that I also found during that research was that the average senior takes 15 different prescription medications in a year. So
Wow.
15, that's a lot, right? And they just prescribe one thing, and then every drug has a side effect. Doesn't matter what drug it is, it has a side effect. And so you take you that thing and it might help you for that, but then guess what? It causes some other problem. So then you go see that specialist and they give you another pill for that problem. And becomes a mess. There's nobody standing back looking and saying, holistically, how can I help this person? And so that's been fascinating for me is just to say, look, we need to take the body as a whole. We can't just start fixing one little teeny problem and thinking that that's all going to be good because that one little teeny problem, that pill you're taking, is probably going to cause other things. So that's been a fascinating journey is to just to help people understand that. So I try to interview holistic practitioners who are looking at the body as a whole. And then I'm also, it's called I Am Pain Free Naturally and Faithfully. And so I like to also do, people who are helping people with faith-based improvement, right? And so those are the big things.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So
Yeah.
you had a near-death experience?
Yeah, so that
Did you
was
see the
the
light? Did you
yeah,
see
so when I
Jesus?
got hit by the truck, it literally threw me, 36 feet, landed on my face, like I mentioned, and I was out unconscious. And if my friend wouldn't have unclogged my throat, I would have died. Because it took the paramedics 12 plus minutes to get there, and your human body can't survive without oxygen for that long of a period of time. And so, yeah, ever since then, I just knew
Mhm.
I was here for a reason. I struggled a really long time trying to figure out what that reason was.
Mhm.
I really honestly believe that I'm stepping into the what God wanted me to do. And it's
Mhm.
so much more fun and so much more exciting when you see that and you can just he's opening up the right doors and he's just leading me and leading me and leading me and leading me. And yeah, I get slapped upside the head, occasionally, right? Yeah, this is real life. So it's never easy. It's very, very, very hard. And there's a lot of people who are just very negative towards who I am and what I'm doing. But I don't, that's they can be however they want. That's fine. I'm not going to let that change who I am. I know I'm on this earth for a reason, and God has me on this path, and I'm just going to keep walking this path and until I go meet him, because the last thing I want when I get to meet him is for him to say, "Who are you? I didn't know you." And
Mhm.
that's a real concern that I had when I first started reading the Bible. You read that story, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, that could be me. What if he says that to me? I
Yeah.
don't want that. I want him to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," right? And it's like, that's what I want. So what do I have to do on this earth to get to that point? That's really the only thing that matters to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm working really hard to make sure he knows who I am, so that he doesn't say, "Who are you? I didn't know you." And
Mhm.
well done, good and faithful servant. Because in the guy driving down the street who flips me off, he
Mhm.
doesn't matter, right? My neighbor who might hate me or whoever, right? Who is negative towards me and what I'm doing, who may not agree with my faith or may not agree with my decisions I make, none
Mhm.
of those matter.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be the light to the world, and I'll go down fighting for that.
Yeah, yeah. When I interact with the people like that, I send them love. I pray for
Mhm.
them because
That's good.
I
That's
I
so
yeah,
hard to do. Great job.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
is really hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because when people act like that and react that way, there's something going on. There's a
Yeah.
storm that has been brewing for years or a few days. There's abuse, there's hurt, there's trauma, there's pain,
Yeah.
and they feel alone and
Yeah, that's
lonely.
right.
So they lash at the next person. They say, doesn't matter who it is, they just lash at them. I think those are the people that we need to love the hardest, the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
And we need to exchange compassion. When they give us anger, we return it with love and compassion, just like Jesus did, really.
That's right. That's so
Yeah,
true. That's so
yeah.
true. Yeah. He
Mhm.
didn't stay away from the sinners, right? He ate with them. He hung out with them because guess what? Those are the people who needed him, right? So those people who were lashing out to us are probably the people who need us most.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And throughout the Bible, I still haven't read all of it. I grew up reading it. I'll
Yeah,
never
get to
understand
it.
it.
It's
I'll never
fun. You can do
understand
it.
all of it. Yeah.
Right.
Throughout the Bible, my gosh, when God gets mad or angry, it's like, I'm a lamb, I'm a lion. It's how,
Right.
like,
No,
just
yeah.
when he gets angry, the plagues, the stuff he sends out, I'm like, which God should I fall in love with?
Well, the amazing thing
He
is
got angry.
he has a
Yeah.
reason for all the things that he does, right? So
Mhm.
I think you can trust in him that he has a plan for your life, right? And you just have to be confident that he does have a plan for your life, and then you need to have a relationship with him. That's what I'm really enjoying is when I was growing up, like I mentioned, I was kind of a creaster. I really didn't understand religion at all, and it was a religion, it wasn't a relationship. And what I've found through my studies
Mhm.
is that you can have a real relationship with him. And when you have a real relationship with him, you can communicate with him and he will guide your path. And
Mhm.
that's what's so fascinating when you get to that point where a lot of times in my life where I just felt I don't know, right? I didn't know him. I didn't understand the book. I didn't understand him. I didn't have a direct relationship with him. And lots of my decisions were my decisions, not decisions I made with him. And then when you can read the Bible, understand the Bible, and you can realize that you can have a personal relationship with your Savior, it's
Mhm.
transformational because then you literally are having a conversation with your Father and your Father in heaven, not your super, not your natural father here on earth. And when you
Mhm.
have that conversation, he lovingly leads you where you need to go and what you should be doing. And he'll correct you too on things that you like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't have done that. And but it's just fascinating that literally when you have that relationship, you can and you start following it. and
Mhm.
things start happening and you're like, hold it. That's not possible without
Yeah.
somebody watching out for me, right? And
Mhm.
I know this is a God thing. That's what this company, Exodus Strong, it is a company that God created because it wasn't me. I
Mhm.
didn't come up with this idea. I didn't come up, I mean, I had ideas, but it didn't, I had no way in the world I could have ever created this by myself. And so just he led me to the right people, the right place at the right time. And
Mhm.
guess what? When that happens, the right things happen. So it's just fascinating that when just don't think about religion. There's all different types of religions. One of the most fascinating courses I took in college was a world religions course,
Mhm.
and wow, that was amazing to me because I didn't realize there were so many religions across the world. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, religions are everywhere, right? But people have so many different varieties of beliefs. It's just phenomenal. But
Mhm.
then when I learned to transition, it's not about religion. It's about relationship. And when you have that relationship, everything else changes. And it's absolutely fascinating and
Mhm.
exciting when you do have that. So if you don't have that relationship with him, you can have it. It's just a matter of taking time and effort to read the word and understand it and that to be saved. And then when you are saved, it deposits the Holy Spirit within you, and then the Holy Spirit helps you connect and communicate directly with him. And then your life is like, woo, this is fascinating. So it's exciting
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning relationship and religion. Um, because I think at times it depends on the person. They may perceive it different or have a different
Yeah.
explanation for it. Yeah, I took religion as well in school.
Yeah, it's
I love
fascinating,
it.
huh? All the different religions, like, whoa, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like
And
a
yeah.
thousand of them, or I can't even remember the number, but there's like lots and lots and lots of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess for me is, I can love anybody, whether they're in my religion or not.
right, right,
There's
and
lots of myths
that's what we
about that.
should be, right? That's how we should be. Even if they're evil people, it's like they're in this situation. Maybe it's not of their own doing, right? And so we still have to love them, even though we don't have to accept what they're doing, but
Mhm.
we can still love them,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that's really, really important.
Yeah. Well, Rob, it's been an hour, so I'm two
All
minutes
right.
over. So I charge every 2 minutes.
There we go. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll start
Dou-
charging. So I have
Double it
three
up.
questions for you as we wrap up. Let me think of the first one. I hate when my brain does that to me. Um, the first one is, what do you want my guests to get out of this episode and why?
Well, I would say the first one is that God loves them, and that he, if you really can't have a personal relationship with him, that's the most, I think, important thing. And then the second is just I have an amazing health solution that can be transformational in your life if you want to investigate it. Go to exodusstrong.com. Take a look at Exodus and the benefits that it can provide for you. And it literally is transformational. And I recommend it for everybody, not selfishly. It really is not. It's just because I know it can have a big impact on your life and you can help people. And when you're healthy, you can have an impact on the kingdom. So
Mhm.
that would be the answer to that one.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Second question. I feel like we're in class.
I like it.
Class
I
is in
like it.
session. What is the meaning of life for you?
Oh man, the meaning of life is to, at the end of the day, have him, I mentioned it, have him say, well done, good and faithful servant. The
Mhm.
meaning of life is to live your life in a way that he exemplifies him. And
Mhm.
there is a creator to this world, and you can have a direct relationship with him, and he will direct your path. So the meaning of life is fascinating to me that you can have that, and if you follow that, you're going to have an amazing life and you're going to have an amazing impact on the world if you can understand that and accept it.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Last question.
All
Where can
right.
people find you, buy your products, and work with you?
Yeah, sounds good. So the best way is go to exodusstrong.com. So Exodus and then strong.com, and that will have our Exodus product. It's just phenomenal. product, and you can get a hold of me there. There's lots of contact there information, and my team can get you my direct contact info there. It's super exciting. I'm also on most social media. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram and all the different social media platforms. But it'd be a
Awesome.
pleasure to help you if I can help you.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, Rob, thank you for all you do. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and thank you for sharing your gifts, not only with me, my guests, but the world.
Yeah, thank you so much. What a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate you for the woman that you are. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.